great oldies and lots of groovy Christmas music. That was Roomful of Blues off of the Roomful of Christmas CD called Here's to You, Christmas Celebration. It's 8:36. Of course, we're going to be celebrating this and celebrating ourselves on the air. We've got lots to celebrate. First and foremost, it's Christmas Eve. Of course, wishing you and all of your family, from our family to yours, wishing Merry Christmas. And also, we're celebrating our birthday. KTIB hits the big 50 today. And gee, we don't look a day over 30. Sitting with me right now, we're going to be explaining to everyone on what our itinerary for today is William Taylor. Good morning, William.
It's just like the Huntley-Brinkley report. We're just back and forth with each other on so many different items.
That's right. Also, too, William has been working on this big project. I came back in September, and William had taken it upon himself to go ahead and interview just about anyone and everyone that has walked through the doors of KTIB. So he's going to be showing us what he's been doing. William, when you first began this project, did you ever anticipate that it would become this big?
No, that is totally by accident. Like the first person I interviewed for the series was Mr. Sadie, who of course was station manager in 55 and then became the owner here in 73, of course,
right.
KHOM before that. And he gave me a few pointers about who maybe to talk to, and then when I went and talked to Marie Bergeron, she gave me a few pointers about who to speak with, so on and so on. And then I went through my memory bank of everybody I remembered who worked here on the air. Those people told me about a lot of folks that worked off the air, and while in 50 years, I knew I wouldn't be able to get to everybody who worked here. We got a good many, and so a lot of these taped interviews, both done live, in person and on the phone, will be airing periodically throughout the day, so I'll probably be here till 3 in the morning. And we also, if we can squeeze it in, we'll have some tributes to some of the other music formats we've had as well. And so it's really turned out to be a real interesting project. And also, by the way, because I know we're giving away something really big around the noon hour, right after we give away that very important something, which is the Trouble Leaf, what we're going to do is I'm going to play something, thanks to our friend Mrs. Dave. We are going to re-air from 1986 one of Marie Bergeron's famous interviews of Santa Claus, live via phone. And we're going to re-air that to kind of give an idea about one of those great traditions KTIB had for roughly 15 years. And, before I forget, I'd like to thank, of course, Mrs. Daig's husband, Mr. Wayne, who was a police officer for a long time, who's not with us anymore. He was responsible for getting Santa Claus to be with Marie every year. So anybody, all you nostalgia fans out there, now we will be starting to run some of these interviews at 9 a.m., but I just wanted to let you know that just after 12 noon is when we'll air that very special tape with Marie and Santa Claus. And also, Rainie, if we're going to squeeze it in, I also produced a trivia and memory special about of KTIB, which includes the periodic Jeopardy thing. And and at the end of it, we actually found footage. Excuse me, my headset's falling off. We actually found footage from the first year of the station.
Awesome.
Thanks to Mr. Clifton at the Nicholls State University Archives Department at Ellender Memorial Library. We'll be airing, that'll be included in the trivia special, and I have an expanded version of it as well later on. So it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody, and I believe, so I can shut my big jaws for a minute, I believe we're going to start giving away something right now, correct?
Yeah, today's going to be a combination of giving away presents. You know, we don't want to outdo or take away any of Santa Claus's thunder, but we do have some gifts to give away on the air, and that's all leading up to the excitement, kind of like a snowball effect, to the grand prize. And let me go over the grand prize for those of you who are just tuning in. KTIB is giving away a Christmas New Orleans style. Now, if you've ever been to New Orleans for Christmas, you know it's very romantic. They've got the carriage rides over there. They've got the French Quarter. They've got rides in the park. They've got Celebration in the Oaks. And there are a lot of things, a lot of historical places, as well as theater. And they've got all kinds of different things that you can go and celebrate. Just a change of scenery, a change of atmosphere. Well, we have put together a prize package. It's a getaway for two, from what I understand, and it's all about Christmas because you get to stay in one of New Orleans' finest hotels. You get to have passes to some of the main events and historical places that you get to go visit in New Orleans. So we're leading up to that at noon, and what's going to happen is our little friend Elfie, which has dropped in from the North Pole, he's going to be coming in and wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. So when you hear Elfie saying Merry Christmas, that's your cue to call in and get your name on the list. We're not taking first, second, third caller. When you hear Elfie, you call us here at KTIB, and we will put you on the list. Now, after all those names have been accumulated at 12 noon, that's going to be the big time we're going to announce it. So all these little gifts that we're giving away, all these little tidbits of trivia and whatnot, and giving you little pieces of the 50th anniversary special, that's all leading up to the big event. And after that, it's pretty much Christmas music, and of course, William's going to be premiering some interesting stuff. I mean, he's worked very hard on this all year long, so he's going to show the fruits of his labor.
And also,
so to speak.
we need to be honest that, I mean, I know you're an honest person, don't get me wrong, but we also, the reason why we want people to call in when Elfie comes on, because let's face it, Rainie, Christy, the receptionist, is very underworked over here. You know? So she needs to do something.
Oh, William, you need to stop picking on Christy. Make it your New Year's resolution to quit picking on Christy.
Well, it's just that, you know.
I'll tell you what, look, we've got food here today. It's going to be an all-out food fight if you don't back off of Christy, okay?
Well, yeah, but just every time when Linda's out there working either in the office or you know, out and about in the region, and, you know, Christy takes her nap, you know, behind her back and all, so it's, you know, so...
That's it, you did.
Just like remember the LAF Enterprise commercials, put this man to work. So I'm trying to improve the economy. And besides, I left all my other jokes at home. So
Okay, well, don't quit your day job, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Well, first thing we're going to do is, William has also worked to acquire a list of trivia questions. And I know, and first of all, I want to say we've got people that have been listening for as long as we've been on the air. And I was looking, William brought some newspaper footage of all the excitement. I mean, KTIB was the in thing in this state in 1953. There was no other radio station that was exclusive to Thibodeau or has been exclusive to Thibodeau like KTIB has been. We just want to stress that. So William has some trivia questions. Now, the first prize we're going to give away today is courtesy of Charter Communications. It's from the movie Charlie Angels. Of course, you know Charlie Angels Full Throttle just came out, which is part 2 with Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore. For a minute there, I had a brain lapse. But it's a Charlie Angel lunchbox. Now, if you're a big fan of the 70s, any of the way that they would merchandise their shows or any kind of TV shows or whatnot was to put the product, like, you know, I'm sure you've seen several items, famous lunchboxes on eBay, like the Partridge Family, stuff from 70s shows like Donnie and Marie. And I think they're bringing the 70s tradition back with Charlie's Angels, because Charlie's Angels used to be one of the more popular shows in the 70s. So they've got this really cute lunchbox, which includes the metal drink container to go with it. And boy, you want to talk about lots of memories. But this would be really cool for the adventurous female on your Christmas list, or adventurous male, because we have a lot of male fans of Charlie's Angels as well.
Very much so.
So we're going to go ahead, and the first person to call in with the correct answer to this trick question that William has at 447-9006-876-6464 will get this prize. So take it away, William.
I just want to know, when do they have a lunchbox for the Joker's Wild? That's what I want to know. Okay, here is today's first trivia question.
All right.
What was KTIB's first frequency on the AM dial?
Oh.
Now, right now we're 640, and the hint is it was pretty close to 640. So what was KTIB's first frequency on the AM dial?
Good question.
Let's put Christy to work, and we'll see what happens. And also, I'm reminded that tomorrow in the Daily Comet they're going to do a nice write-up on our 50th anniversary as well.
Let's see if we can. Batman, Fats Domino, Blue Christmas on Oldie 640 KTIB, celebrating 50 years of broadcast excellence. I'm Rainie Blanchard. In the studio with me is William Taylor, and we've got some more prizes to give away. Got a beautiful Hornets cap from the Hornets. They're doing pretty good this season, huh, William?
Oh, very much so. And they had a little slump early on in the season. They've rebounded the last game or two. And though I have to admit, I didn't have a chance to look up the score from the Cleveland game last night. But it was, they're very respectable under first-year coach Tim Floyd. And in a game like NBA basketball, players make all the difference in the world. And think how much better they'll be when Jamal Mashburn comes off of injury.
Now, I'm surprised. We do carry the Saints and we carry the Hornets. And with the fact that you're on a first-name basis with all the Saint stations and the honeybees, and yet you don't have a date to our office Christmas party. What's up with that?
Okay, but anyway.
TMI.
Well, the story about me and the milkman growing up, that's why Daddy doesn't like me, but anyway.
Oh, okay. Getting back to business here.
Well, you walked into that one, so.
Oh, basically. Okay, we're going to have to rehearse before we go in the air now.
Good.
Okay, so I asked William to go into his collection of KTIB trivia and find an appropriate trivia question for the sports question to give away this beautiful Purple Hornets cap. Definitely for the sports fan in your family.
Okay, now, plain and simple, in the fall of what year did KTIB start carrying Hornets radio games?
Oh, that should be easy. 447-9006 or 876-6464. In the fall of what year did KTIB start carrying Hornets games?
Which, of course, was also the first year they moved from Charlotte to New Orleans. So anybody wants to win the hat, give us the answer to that question, and we'll definitely give it to you.
And, of course, tell them what they can look forward to coming up today besides Christmas music and giveaway stuff.
All right.
What are some of the things that you're going to have?
Well, besides other tactless jokes of mine, folks, we're going to have a lot of good recorded stuff coming up. Of course, we'll still be doing live cut-ins throughout the day to give away stuff. But what we got is a lot of good interviews from a lot of people. A lot of you will remember growing up both here, and some of them even were at KHOM when that was our sister station. Countless memories of people who worked here, and that some of them live in other parts of the state, some of them other parts of the country now. In fact, I talked to Jackie Brinkley the other day, who worked here in the late 80s, early 90s. She mentioned to me that Peggy Sullivan, who was a member of the news staff for a good while, now lives in Australia.
Wow.
So we got them all over the place. And but the good team that I've had the chance to interview, like Mr. Sadie and Marie, Roy Pugh, Jimmy Cole, and Hugh Smith, who now lives in the state of Mississippi, Jim Swiler as well, and, of course, our friend Brennan, Shane Warner, who, of course, has moved on to New Orleans. Forgive me, I know I'm forgetting a lot of people. I don't have my list in front of me. But, just countless good names that made this station promising over the years. Ed Bourne.
Okay, we got a caller. I hate to interrupt you a bunch. We do have a caller, and let's see if they get the trivia question right. Who do we have online?
Vicky.
Hi, Miss Vicky. Do you know the answer to the trivia question?
2002?
2002. She got it.
Oh, right.
Congratulations. You picked up a beautiful, I'm talking about, you've got this purple with the Hornets mascot, beautifully embroidered on the front.
Oh, my favorite color.
Oh, yeah. It's my favorite color, too. Imagine that. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay on the line. We're going to get some information from you. So I'm sorry, William. You can continue now.
I just wanted that's the same Miss Vicky that married Tiny Tim on the Tonight Show.
I don't think so.
Okay, that was 1969, by the way. And in fact, it was a week ago today that occurred. But anyway, folks, we're going to have a whole lot of fun with all these interviews. And also, I want to talk about something me and Rainie mentioned earlier on a serious note. We'll have a little afternoon when we give away the big trip to New Orleans. That what we're also going to do is re-air from 1986 one of the classic Marie Blanchard interviews of Santa Claus. And, of course, back then we didn't have the technology that we do now. And what Marie used to do, the staff in the office would write down kids' requests when they called in on the phone, and then the staff would hand the paper to Marie. Marie would read it on the air so Santa Claus would know what to give the kids in the area. They used to do it on dialogue for a good 15 years for a large part of the 80s and 90s, and it was a very, very time-honored tradition. And so we'll be re-airing one of that. I've been up since 4:30, folks, so you got to forgive me. And so anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And some of the different musical tributes, and if we have time, I know how much Linda loves Elvis. We'll even have something with that along the way. So it's going to
be interesting.
Oh, yeah. So we got a whole lot of stuff to broadcast today, and even though I'll be here till 3 in the morning airing it all. Hey, look, it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. And I also want to mention, since a lot of people are driving, listening to their car radios, either last-minute shopping or en route to somebody's house for Christmas, is, if your little kids are listening, that this will be a good educational experience as well, learning about all these people in radio and the good times and the funny stories that occurred on the air, well, the ones they let me put on tape.
That, in addition to the fact, William, too, that we're going to be squeezing in broadcasts of Santa. We've got NORAD. If you have a computer at home that has access to the Internet, NORAD.com, and they have a radar, a special radar that tracks Santa. So if you could squeeze in reports, that would be really cool.
Yeah, heck, I remember in 1979, long before we had the Internet to the public, you might remember the name Al Duckworth.
Duckworth, yeah, that does ring a bell.
And when he did weather at Channel 4 for a long time, he used to do that a lot. If his shift fell on Christmas Eve, he would color weather radar and to try to pick up Santa at 10 o'clock at night coming in from the northeast. So
wow.
That was a neat little trick for the late 70s. So anyway, so NORAD, it tracks Santa all across the world, and later on, maybe even in a few minutes, I'll go outside and we'll get an update. Last we checked, he was down in southeast Australia.
Yeah, headed towards New Zealand.
Yeah, right, in that neighborhood, I believe what they call Oceania. So I watch National Geographic too much, forgive me. So,
okay.
So anyway, we'll get an update in just a little bit.
Also, too, I guess if any of the kids want to call in and talk to us, we do have connections with Santa. Santa helpers, and you never know. Santa Claus may call in. I mean, I know he knows our radio station, and he knows we've been good little girls and boys. So he might call in, and you never know.
Well, I don't know about
full of surprises.
I don't know about certain on-air personalities that came on before us this morning about being good or not. So. If Santa was listening at 7:20, I'm sorry. So, no. Gene and his family was great. It's always a good time when they come up on Christmas Eve, and it's one heck.
It's a lively bunch.
Oh, it's one heck of a new tradition, especially when they all show up in their pajamas like they did this morning. So. But it's been a lot of fun, and hey, like I said, pretty soon we'll be starting up those taped interviews, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun today on this wonderful 50th anniversary, and a very sunny day as well.
That's true, and also, too, we'll be bringing you a few news broadcasts. We'll be checking the news wire, see what's going on in the world. So people that tune in for news on a regular basis, you're not going to be missing out on your news altogether. I think one of the big issues besides praying and extending a special Christmas wish to our soldiers in the Middle East and Iraq is also the thing that came up lately about the mad cow disease.
Very much so. And, of course, it's been in England for a good while, in different parts of Europe and Asia as well. This is the first known recorded case in the United States history. Of which part of the country it was in? Washington?
Yeah, in the northwest part of the country.
So we'll see if that can be isolated. And, it's for on and off for different decades. One of the big fears with the cattle industry would have been diseases like anthrax.
Right.
But with this disease being, I can't say relatively new, but a more hard disease to control, I guess. It'll be real interesting to see if they can isolate this in plenty enough time and go at it from there.
Well, from what I understand, though, I think it's the beads that they said that the disease is in the nerve endings, and that doesn't have anything to do with the beat that's processed.
Oh well.
So they're encouraged. Are reiterating that. Not for us not to worry that there was an isolated case and that they have the situation pretty much under control. So look, stuff like that hits the news because it's the first case ever reported in the United States.
Right. And like I said, hopefully everything will be okay. Now, in my case, if they could do something about mad ex-mother-in-law disease, I think would be okay. So.
I'm sure there's a story behind that, but you know what? Today's about the positive side of the holiday.
Well, it's supposed to be. But it's like the old saying. Well, speaking of a little more lightheartedness, it's like the story about fruit cake at Christmas.
Oh, geez.
No, it's no big deal. It's just the old saying goes that there's only one fruit cake in the world. It's just that everybody
passes it around. You're right.
So, well, real quick, when I was in elementary school, I don't know if your school did the same thing, one of the fundraisers we had was try to sell
Fruitcake fundraisers. Terrebonne High School marching band was famous for their cake and this beautiful fruitcake and this beautiful blue tin, decorative tin. Going back to like the Italian Michelangelo artwork on the tin. But that was the only fruitcake that we would ever eat. That was the best fruitcake in the whole wide world.
And we were pretty lucky because we were elementary school. I'll go ahead and give them a plug. The company I think was called Benson's Fruitcake, and we used to try to sell that. And of course, while it's good, the only problem was after most people would only buy one.
Right.
So
that's all you need.
Well, exactly. So now the hard part was trying to find enough households to buy from you. But yeah, I do have very vivid memories of that when I was a kid. Everybody trying to sell the fruitcake.
So we talk about holiday memories and everything. If anybody wants to call in and holiday wishes, and also make sure you listen for Elsie because we're taking qualifiers, a few more qualifiers up until the time when it's time to give away the Christmas New Orleans style giveaway. So just sit back, listen, and enjoy. You're listening to Oldie 640 KTIB. Merry Christmas. Good times, great oldies, and great Christmas music. Oldie 640 KTIB, celebrating 50 years of broadcast excellence. It's 9:13. Of course, I'm Rainie Blanchard, and with me is William Taylor. And we've got some things to give away, and we're going to do a trivia question real quick. And then we have a special surprise that William and Miss Linda are cooking up for us. So, what do you have? And first of all, I am just curious. I know I didn't ask for much from Santa this year, just to be with my family and my friends for Christmas. And I just thank God that I'm here to celebrate it with all my family and friends. And I'm just looking forward to a nice and simple Christmas. I'm learning how to cook. I asked Santa for the cooking skills, but I think there's some things you just can't get from Santa, you know what I mean?
Right. But it's an interesting holiday season, and it's like Jeff Palermo on his sports show yesterday. I told him I condensed my list, and all I wanted for Christmas was that girl named Vanessa. So then I'll be there.
Isn't that a song? All I want for Christmas? No, I don't think there's a song like that.
No, well, I tried, but the copyright was still in effect. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I really for the past few years I really don't expect a whole lot for Christmas because, like I said, since I became an adult, maybe not a mature one, but since I became one, since I shop for myself so often, I really don't think about expecting things from other people in that regard. So, so far for Christmas, I think I've gotten 2 shirts, which is plenty good enough for me. I can tell you that right now.
It's my favorite Christmas present from my dad, socks.
Socks. Wow.
Socks.
Well, I have a quick sock Christmas story if you want to hear it.
Is it rated PG?
Oh gosh, this is so rated G, it's not even funny.
Okay, you can go ahead.
But what happened is this: I won't say the lady's name, but we had a high school teacher whose I believe son at the time, you're talking about the mid-'80s, was really big into that Rambo thing.
I remember Rambo, yeah.
Okay. Well, what happened was this: for Christmas, the young man was going to get from Santa Claus a Rambo outfit. Okay. Well, here's what apparently in her family the tradition was: you get some presents on Christmas Eve, some on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Well, on Christmas Eve, all she gave the young man was a pair of camouflage socks.
Oh my God.
So he thought he really got stuck on Christmas and almost threw a fit in the house when all he got was socks. And then, he felt...
But they're Rambo socks.
Yeah, but he didn't put 2 and 2 together because it wasn't until Christmas morning that the rest of the outfit was given to him.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of a tease for what was coming. The young man didn't understand it, and apparently he almost threw a fit to the point where his mom wouldn't give him the Rambo outfit.
Isn't that a rule? You're not supposed to torture the ones you love on Christmas Eve?
Well, mine did. Look how I turned out.
You keep on saying that. But no, Christmas does become different as you become an adult. But what you remember are Christmas memories as a child. So now that I have children of my own and I've got nieces and nephews, I try to make as many Christmas memories for them as possible. This weekend we did something really special. something that my mom started a tradition when I had my kid. My sister's got 3 and one who just turned 7. And we took the kids around the town. We didn't go to celebration in the Oaks like the original plan was. We figured that we would fare a lot better if we went and see all the lights around Houma and Thibodeau area. We caught a few. There, I noted that we went to the old neighborhoods where we used to see almost every house lit up, but I guess with the energy conservation awareness on and people downsizing for Christmas, we didn't see a few lights, but the ones we saw and the ones I have yet to see, the biggest, there used to be, remember, I don't know if you were old enough to remember, or if you were familiar with the Christmas display in Thibodeau, there's this one particular gentleman, his name is Mr. Zarang, and he used to have a house right across the street from Kmart. Anybody living in Houma would remember this. Every year when we were growing up, it never failed. He would get wired for Christmas. There was not an inch of the front of his house or his roof. And it seemed to me that every year the display got bigger and bigger. I mean, this had nothing on the Griswolds, about the Christmas vacation. This put the Griswolds to shame. I think this is probably where they got the idea for Christmas vacation.
Wow. And
my grandpa was an electrician. It got to the point where he would be calling my grandpa with advice, and my grandpa ended up having to, in the last couple of years that Mr. Zarang was alive, he had to end up going and wiring his house for Christmas. I just felt really sorry to see his electric bill. It must have been monstrous.
Oh, yeah, and I think I've been to that house one time when it was the display, so I do have memories of it when I was a kid. And my personal favorite, everybody in Thibodeau knows what I'm talking about. If you leave the KTIB studios down Highway 1 going towards Community Bank, there's some people on the left side, off the left side of the road that every year have had a nice display with a Ferris wheel and some other things.
Oh, wow.
And, in fact, I may go by there tonight before I go home. It's one of the nicest and oldest outdoor Christmas scenes that I remember as a kid, and I'm glad those folks still keep it going every year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, sure. And, like you said, at our house is Sister Jill, who always does all the outdoor decorations over there. And, it's a lot of fun to drive at night and see all these great decorations outside. And it really adds a lot to the atmosphere of this time of year.
And you're right. And listen to this, because we're going to be using this later on as a trivia question. There was a poll taken recently. This company asked 26 grade school kids what they thought was the best part about Christmas. They said it was the lights, not the presidents, not Santa Claus. It was the Christmas lights. And the talk of the town this year is in Ellendale subdivision. Now, I must warn you, this is quite a monstrous display. Let's just say that they've got 2 houses. I haven't even seen it yet, but from what I understand, it's 2 houses, and they're across the street from each other, and both houses have beautiful Christmas displays. There are lights draped across the street from one house to the other, and we tried getting in line. God, you couldn't even go into Ellendale subdivision. My advice, if you want to go see the lights in Ellendale subdivision, get there early, because the 2 houses are located all the way in the back. We couldn't even get close. When we got in, there were like 20 or 30 cars in front of us, and when we pulled up in line, 20 or 30 cars pulled up in line behind us. So the kids were getting a little impatient, where's the lights, where's the lights? So, but if you get a chance, go see the lights in Ellendale subdivision. Absolutely beautiful. That was the talk of the town.
Wow.
For this year, everyone's got the buzz. Did you go to Ellendale? Did you go to Ellendale? I'm like, no, not yet. I didn't have anything to keep the kids amused that night. So after that, we had some Christmas memories, ran around, and after that we went to my house, had Christmas cookies and hot chocolate with marshmallows. So the kids, they're still talking about that. Another place, Neil Seward's house. Oh, in Ellendale. The owner of Copeland's. Well, that explains it, because Al Copeland used to have a tradition in the 80s to where, you want to talk about a light. Basically, yeah, Neil is giving Al a run for his money, basically.
And don't forget, Mr. Seward also is co-owner of the Bayou Bucks. in the NISL.
That's true.
With Mr. Gordon Dove. So, Merry Christmas, Jack Phillips, the coach is listening. He's one heck of a coach and an interesting football team down there. So, yeah, Christmas displays all over the place. It's good to see people willing to take the time and do all that good stuff. And, you know.
And did I forget to mention that at the display at Mr. Stewart's house, they give out candy to the kids.
Wow.
I think that's why the onset of such I do believe they need traffic control personnel up there to direct traffic.
Wow.
You know?
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're out there every night giving out candy.
Man.
So, absolutely.
Well, I tell you, that's one thing I appreciate is free food. So,
speaking of free, we got some more giveaways.
Okay.
I've got this little gift package together. I call it my stocking stuffer gift set. These are elements that you cannot do without this Christmas. And we're going to do a little Christmas trivia. And then we're going to update with on NORAD to see where Santa Claus is right now. First of all, in the stocking stuffer gift set, we've got what they call Grumpy Christmas cards. And you've seen them all. This time of the year is the season to give Christmas cards. And most of them have beautiful Christmas sentiments, you know, warm fuzzies like wish you a Merry Christmas or some scripture, everything. But these are for the people who say Christmas bah humbug, like my husband, jokingly, okay? And on the front it says it's the most wonderful time on the year. And on the inside is a little grumpy message, but I'm not at liberty to say on the air. But if you're the grumpy kind of person, you may want to win these Christmas. It's a Christmas card gift set, about 10 Christmas cards you can sign and mail off. Also, too, for the kids, as part of this stocking stuffer gift set, is Hey Mr. Spaceman. A lot of kids' songs talking about going into outer space, kind of like flying away with the Jetsons kind of theme. And it's the kids, lots of popular groups like the B-52s, Jimmy Durante, the Birds, Maria Muldaur, Sheb Woolley, Purple People Eaters on this. Wow. So it's a space theme, and it's be really cool for the little boy in your life that loves flying saucers. And to wrap up this stocking stuffer gift set, we have a edition of the Christmas box, which is a beautiful read and a family tradition that you need to start. If you've never heard of the Christmas box, it's basically a Christmas miracle talking about the real meaning of Christmas and how it affects a certain family in the 20th century. So this is our stocking stuffer gift set. And with that, we have our Christmas trivia question. Now, let's see how smart you are in your Christmas carols, okay, William?
Okay.
We got to put on our thinking cap for this one.
This is exciting. I've always wanted something from Sheb Woolley. It's really great.
Hey, it's one of those classic songs, too.
Plus, he also played on Rawhide.
That's true. That's very true. But that's not the trivia question.
Oh.
This is Christmas carols. In the Christmas carol, it came upon a midnight clear. What are the angels touching? Okay.
It's a family show now, so.
Hey, it's totally PG, William. Totally PG. You know me. I'm not like that. And it came upon a midnight clear. What are the angels touching? First person who calls 447-9006 or 876-6464 with the correct answer will go ahead and pick up the stocking stuffer prize pack, which includes the Grumpy Christmas cards and the Christmas box and the Hey Mr. Spaceman soundtrack.
Oh, also, I don't want to forget that to briefly give a NORAD update on Santa.
Oh, yes, it's time for a NORAD update.
Okay, now, unfortunately, we don't have the audio things up yet, but in fact, we're in the process of getting it right now.
We can like pull a microphone to the speaker?
Not quite yet, but I think the last update I got is that he was in the Mongolia area early.
Okay, well, hold on, let me go ahead. You talk about Santa, I'm going to pick up the winner and talk to him.
Okay, in just a moment, we'll go to Santa while Rainie gets the phone. And what we're going to do in a moment, we're going to check in with Lieutenant Mike Lewis from the United States Navy on the track of Santa, as he is on the other side of the world right now. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to pan out. And, okay, let me check to make sure I got the mic on so we can be able to pick this up. And let's go ahead and give it a try right now.
Santa is in Japan, and his speed is currently about 100 times faster than the Japanese bullet train. Santa is one of the most famous volcanoes in the world. More than 200,000 people from around the world visit Mount Fuji every year, and Santa visits every Christmas Eve. For NORAD's next Santa, I'm Lieutenant Mike Woods, United States Navy. Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right.
Wow, Japan.
All right.
Neat.
Isn't that great?
That is so neat. Well, we do have a winner. We're going to talk about Santa. Let's go ahead and get our winner. Miss Catherine is on the line. Miss Catherine, do you know the answer?
Because there are to go.
Very good. And, of course, Miss Catherine picks up a stocking stuffer gift set with the Grumpy greeting cards, Mr. Spaceman CD, and the Christmas box. Hang on, Miss Catherine will get some information from you. So, wow, how cool is that?
Now, that's great right there. I'm glad somebody immediately knew the answer. I think we may have future Jeopardy contestants out there. So it's really
Absolutely.
great. Oh, yeah. And,
well, talk about Santa.
all right. Well, like I said, Lieutenant Mike Lewis just informed us once again that Santa Claus is in the neighborhood of Japan right now, passing by Mount Fuji. I wonder if that's in relation to Mount Fiji that used to wrestle. Anyway, wrestle on television many years ago, if y'all remember that. And so anyway, he's heading into the Japan area, and he's probably going to head out towards the rest of the eastern face of Asia before going towards western part later on this afternoon into this evening. Santa's got a lot of territory to cover, 6 billion people in the world, and it's going to bring presents all over the place. And, you know, that sleigh's got to travel real fast. Some points it's rumored that he even travels at the speed of light. And, you know, so he can get out there pretty quick, folks. And that's one thing about Santa. If we all worked like Santa, we'd have the most productive economy in America, in the world. So Santa's moving along real good. And he ought to be getting to our area, of course, later tonight, probably going on midnight in our part of the country. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And once again, you're listening to Oldie 640 KTIB-AM 640 on this, not just Christmas Eve 2003, but also our 50th anniversary. And keep staying tuned in a little while. We're going to intermix between the live stuff that we're doing right now and a lot of the tape segments in honor of our 50th anniversary. We got a lot of good people in here working with us. Of course, Linda, our general manager. I just saw Mike step in a little while ago. We mentioned Christy earlier, and of course I'm with Rank. And you can forget about who I am. I'm not that important. So, but
Oh, that's not true.
okay. Well, I have to be reminded. So thank you. But like I said, later on, hopefully we'll have another live report from Lieutenant Lewis or someone else with the military on the status of Santa Claus. And if anybody would like to track it at home from where you are on the internet, www.noradsanta.org. That's NOARDSANTA.
You got the A and the R mixed up. It's NORAD.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's NARD. That's
I
okay.
did?
That's what friends are for.
Oh, thank you. I had football on my mind. There was a lineman named Billy R. That's what.
Sure, roll in the brain, yeah.
Oh, well. It happens. You know, I never made a mistake. Once I thought I did, but I was wrong.
I was wrong, yeah. All right, well, let's get back to some Christmas music, and we'll be coming in and giving you little clips of the 50th anniversary special. So on behalf of William and myself and all the staff here at KTIB, and we've got some national news, and we go to our afternoon news reporter, Mr. Jayson Lee.
Good morning, everyone. Today in national news, Mexico says it's just taking the necessary precautions. Mexico is banning imports of U.S. beef until authorities there can be sure that the food is safe. U.S. officials announced yesterday that a cow in Washington state had tested positive for mad cow disease in a preliminary test. Federal officials are assuring Americans that the food supply is safe. This despite the preliminary test showing that a cow from Washington state dairy farm had mad cow disease. 2 samples are undergoing an analysis in Britain to determine whether it did have mad cow disease. Controllers at the Space Center in Germany are keeping a close watch on the twin spacecraft making up Europe's first mission to Mars. If all goes according to plan, the Beagle 2 probe will make a Christmas Day landing while its mothership, the Mars Express, orbits overhead ready to begin relaying vital pictures and information. This has been your national news.
Thanks, Jason. And, of course, since we've got William Taylor live in the house, William's going to give us a little, I'm sure he's got some sports and some weather. And William, take it away.
Thank you very much, Rainie. Rookie LeBron James scored 22 points last night when the Cleveland Cavaliers, rallied for a 97-86 victory over the Hornets. Baron Davis had 27 points for New Orleans. P.J. Brown had 16 and 14 rebounds. New Orleans, which led 70-66 after 3 quarters, was outscored 31-16 in the fourth. and lost for the fourth time in 5 games. Tommy Laredo posted his 4th double-double of the year, scoring 22 points and pulling down 10 rebounds as LSU defeated Tulane 67-48 last night. Daryl Mitchell, in his first start for LSU of this year, tied his career high with 19 points, including 4 3-pointers, while Tack Minor came off the bench and also tied his season high of 12. By the way, this is also the first time Tulane plays at LSU in basketball in 19 years. Shreveport area native and former LSU baseball star Todd Walker now knows where he'll be playing Major League Baseball next season. He's agreed to a 1-year contract with the Chicago Cubs, and the contract will pay Walker at least $1.75 million in guaranteed money, which I think is a little more than what Gene Richard gets here. Louisiana Tech quarterback Luke McCown has a game to play on Christmas Day. He has been invited to the Blue-Gray All-Star game in Montgomery, Alabama. Congratulations to him. Also, real quickly, the St. Louis Cardinals took another step toward leaving Busch Stadium. The team completed financing yesterday for a new downtown park it hopes to occupy in April of 2006. Work on a new stadium begins Monday. Official groundskeeping is set for January of 17th. The best part is none of the players have tested positive for mad cow disease. Well, let's do the weather right now. Mostly sunny today, in case you haven't guessed. Highs in the upper 50s with north winds. Mostly clear tonight. Lows in the upper 30s. North winds 10 to 15. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with highs in the upper 50s. Thursday night, partly cloudy, lows around 40. Mostly cloudy Friday, mainly because of a weak upper disturbance moving into our area with highs in the mid-60s. Upper 50s Friday night, partly cloudy Saturday in the upper 60s. And guess what? 20% chance of rain Saturday night, 40% Sunday, and 30% Sunday night with the approach of our next front. So some models think that's a little early. Some of the computer models think the rain may not come till Monday with the frontal passage. But we got a few days to look for that. So that's been your KTIB weather and sports. I'm William Taylor, and so I guess we're going to go back to Rainie.
Yeah, did you get an update from Santa yet, or you want to hold on that until after we do the contest?
Well, let's go ahead. I think Jayson brought it in. And
Santa's, we just checked the NORAD computer, and Santa is currently still in Japan.
Oh, wow.
He'll be heading over here in about 12 more hours.
Right.
When it gets dark, so all the little kids have a couple more hours to wait before they get their presents.
Yeah, it's going to be dark. Right now he's spanning the other time zone, so we're keeping track on him. Thanks for that update. Here's a little public service announcement from the police department of the city of Thibodaux, and of course, I'm sure all local law enforcement, including city, parish, and state police, will agree with this public service announcement. It's called One for the Road. One for the Road. What did that last drink cost? Over $8,000 your license and car when you're caught driving impaired. The Thibodaux Police Department and KTIB remind you that law enforcement will be out this holiday season, protecting everyone from impaired drivers. Please celebrate responsibly and don't take a chance, because chances are you will be caught. Designate a sober driver, take a taxi cab, or take a ride straight to jail. Please don't drink and drive. And that is a heartfelt announcement from the city of Thibodaux, local law enforcement, and of course, KTIB. At this time, we're going to be letting you know that, of course, don't forget, listen for LFIG for your chance to qualify. We're giving away a beautiful Christmas New Orleans style getaway. As a chance to get away for two and celebrate Christmas New Orleans style with hotel accommodations in top-notch New Orleans hotels, plus some activities, free passes to activities in the Big Easy to boot. So, okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and give some other presents in the meantime. So I just wanted to make everyone know that, the big prize giveaway is going to be at noon for the Christmas New Orleans getaway. And yes, if you qualify, you need to be listening at 12 noon, because the person who wins will have to call to claim their prize.
That's
okay?
Right. So if you snooze, you lose.
That's it, William. Thank you for that lovely cliche.
It's the only smart thing I've said all day. So.
Oh, well, don't knock yourself short, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, we're going to do some Christmas Carol trivia. This is for people that we've been playing Christmas music for the past week, so you should know your Christmas Christmas songs very well. In the Christmas Carol, have yourself a merry little Christmas. How should your heart beat? Boys, don't give an answer.
No.
Okay. In the Christmas Carol, have yourself a merry little Christmas. How should your heart beat? First caller at 447-9006 or 876-6464 will pick up a cute little Christmas prize pack The most popular game for the kids right now, card game, is called Malarkey. If you don't, do you ever heard of Malarkey?
Yeah, well, let me say I've heard it as an expression, but not as a board game or a brand game.
Well, this is kind of like faking someone out. They give you a trivia question, and if you don't need to know the answer, you just have to act like you do. And other people have tried to get pulling their leg or not, and that's what it's called, Malarkey. For example, what is shoe fly pie, and how did it get its name?
So I'm saying, in other words, you have to try to make up an answer.
Make up an answer, or even if you do know the answer, you have to be very convincing. And of course, your friends that you're playing with, they need to go ahead and see if that's. I'm sorry, I'm being put on the spot over here. We got some people here with a camera.
All right.
But it's kind of like a BS game. If you pull their leg, if not, And of course, it's a really cute game it's a card game for ages 10 and up. And of course, along with the Malarkey card game, we have the Chris Box by Richard Paul Evans, which is a very beautiful read. It talks about the true meaning of Christmas and losing a loved one around Christmas time, and how there's hope in Christmas. So that's a very beautiful book for anyone to have in their stocking Christmas. So the first person who can call and tell me the answer to that trivia question and have yourself a Merry Little Christmas. How should your heart be? Of course, everyone's going to hold.
Well, I don't know the answer to that one.
Oh, by the way, you mentioned, what was the expression you said? What is shoe fly pie?
Yeah, what's shoe fly pie?
Oh, that's the latest artist from Def Jam Records.
No, you see, that's Malarkey. You see, you would have lost that game.
Wait till I get on the Millionaire Show. You'll see how that.
More of a rock star.
Okay, you're going to show me when you get on the Millionaire Show, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it might happen. You never know.
And then on the other hand, I won't hold my breath, but it's all good.
Good.
All right, well, we'll be back on the air with another update on Santa Claus and more trivia questions and more chances for you to qualify for Christmas New Orleans style on Oldie 640 KTIB.
Oldie 640 KTIB, 11:10 a.m. This is William Taylor on our KTIB 50th anniversary. On this day, went on the air for the first time at 10 a.m. in the morning. Good to be with you on this Christmas Eve. But now we're going to go into another installment of our 50th anniversary series. Now, what you're about to hear is an interview I did with Marie Blanchard back in the late summer. And once again, for all you nostalgia fans, after 12 noon, after Rainie and Linda and the cast give away that exciting trip to New Orleans, that's when we'll air the classic 1986 interview with Marie and Santa Claus live from the North Pole. But right now, we're going to go to our taped interview with Marie Blanchard about her life and times at KTIB and KTOM with a lot of funny stories along the way. Let's go to that audio tape right now. Oldie 640 KTIB, and if I hit the proper button, I believe Nancy's on the phone. Nancy, can you hear me? Whoops, hold on, Nancy. Nancy, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, hang on, Nancy. I've dropped my earphones. Live radio, I love it. Y'all see how good I am shoveling sawdust? It's even better. Okay, let's see. Nancy, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, Nancy, you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. I can hear you now, just like that crazy cell phone commercial said. Okay, you ready to try to answer the 3 trivia questions to win the prize package?
I can try. Let's go.
All right, ma'am, here we go. We'll give you the first question now. Basically, a lot of these questions are based on questions we asked earlier during the show. So here we go. This is all about KTIB's history. Question number 1, Nancy. What was KTIB's first frequency on the AM dial?
650?
No, ma'am, it's not 650. Unfortunately, the answer was 630. Because currently, of course, we're on AM 40.
Okay.
Okay, well, Nancy, I appreciate your time. Thank you now. Bye-bye. Well, we tried to give it away to Nancy, so tell you what we're going to do. We're going to play a song right now. And, in fact, do you have a name drawn yet, Christy? No, not yet. Okay, we're going to play a song. We're going to come back and try to get another winner right here at Oldie 640. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to get this away. Oldie 640 KTIB, William Taylor with you, and you just heard a minute ago we tried to make a winner out of Nancy, and unfortunately she didn't know about our previous frequency. So now, the next name on the list that we randomly have drawn, the name, I hope I pronounced this right, Kim Cheesebro. Hope I got it right. Chesebrough. Kim Cheeseborough of Thibodaux. You have 6 minutes and 40 seconds to call us here at Oldie 640. And let me see if that's on the line right now. Okay, I tell you what we're going to do. So play another song. Kim, you got 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And to play, and that might be her. Hello, KTIB. Okay, hold on. All right, folks, if I don't screw up the phone, we'll get Kim on the phone right now. So I hit the pod button. And, okay, Kim, can you hear me? Good, I can hear you now. So, Kim, this is your opportunity to win that New Orleans prize package here at 12:15. I've always wanted to be Wink Martindale. This is great.
Okay, nothing too hard, though.
Okay, well, we're going to go down the list. It's 3 questions about KTIB history, a lot of which has been mentioned on our show already. So here we go. Kim, here's question 1. The first KTIB studios was on the 2nd floor of a building that housed, or currently houses, what newspaper?
The Daily Comet.
The Daily Comet. There you go. Now, okay, here's the next question. Forgive me, I got my pages stuck. Name KTIB's one-time daily morning program, which for decades allowed callers to sell merchandise on the air.
Swap Shop?
That's Swap Shop. That's the correct answer, so that's good. It's getting real good now. Okay, here we go. One final question to win it all. Okay, and now if you listened a few minutes ago, you should know this answer. What female KTIB personality started on the air on November 15th, 1954, and stayed at either KTIB or KHOM until retiring in the late 90s?
Marie Blanchard.
You got it. She's got all 3 of them. All right, here's what we're going to do, Kim. I'm going to put you on hold, and somebody's going to talk to you about, how you can come about and get your package. And I would just want to say to you once again, congratulations, and we're real happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, Kim, just stand by for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll lower Kim's the pod on the phone here. Thank you. So congratulations to Kim, our winner, here on Oldie 640 KTIB. We're real happy to give that away. I believe Christy's going to go talk to her right now about how to pick it up. And thank you once again for playing, everybody. It's been a lot of fun playing the trivia game. And right now I'm going to play another Christmas song, and when we come back, we'll air more of our 50th anniversary series. So stand by right here on Oldie 640 KTIB. And now let's play another song. Oldie 640 KTIB, William Taylor back with you at 12:20. Once again, congratulations to Kim on winning that travel package. Now, folks, we're going to get back to our 50th anniversary series right now, as we promised, about 20 minutes late. We're now going to air that classic edition of Rainie Blanchard on Dialogue, Talking to Santa Claus in 1986. And, of course, back then, because the phone technology wasn't as sharp as it is now, people in the office would take phone calls from children, write their list on a piece of paper, and then they would hand it to Marie. So that's what you're about to hear. We got a nice intro and exit with it. And, of course, thanks to Mrs. Dade for allowing me to copy her tape to do this. So right now, let's go to that 50th anniversary segment, Rainie Blanchard and Santa Claus from 1986. And if any of you parents are listening out there, don't be surprised that maybe you, from 17 years ago, you hear your kids' names when they were requesting stuff from Santa Claus. Let's go to that tape right now. Oldie 640 KTIB. William Taylor with you at 1:43 p.m. Hope your Christmas Eve is going very well. We had just a delightful party over here, except when I had too much to drink and I put the lampshade on my head. I don't think that was too good of an idea. Oldie 640 KTIB, and folks, I think we're ready for our surprise now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit a couple of buttons here in the studio, and assuming I didn't disconnect anybody, on the line with us right now, gentlemen, a lot of you will remember from KTIB in the 1960s, and it was also a pretty good sportscaster at Channel 9, now with the Louisiana Chemical Association. Dan Borne, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, William. How are you?
Oh, very good, and hopefully everybody out there, I got the right buttons, can hear you as well. Well, how are you spending your Christmas Eve?
I'm listening to the 50th anniversary of TIB. You know, it's been a great afternoon, and so many of the personalities you've been talking to, I worked with and around, and just all sorts of great stories.
All right. Now, of course, earlier in the broadcast, we had mentioned this, and we had mentioned it a few days ago as well, that you're pretty good at saving some things on audio tape. And one of the things you happen to save, if you like to give the listeners a little background about 1965, when our area was affected by Hurricane Betsy, there was an interesting interview that Mr. Sadie had performed. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct. Jim Sliler told the story of Jim himself and Ray over at the transmitter with the with the generator keeping the station on during the entire storm. And after the storm passed, of course, all the emergency stuff had to kick in, and the federal government was involved, the state was involved. And I worked back at the station back then. I worked the board for days and days at a time, while everyone else was out covering the rescue and the emergency efforts. And Ray Sadie took a little reel-to-reel battery-operated tape recorder, and he went down the block to the courthouse, and he interviewed Sheriff St. Marie in one of the great interviews of all time. This absolutely belongs in the Radio and Television Hall of Fame in terms of an interview, because in that interview, Raymond discusses Hurricane Betsy with Sheriff St. Marie, who goes on to describe a rather spectacular rescue that he himself was a party to. As a matter of fact, he was not only party to it, he was rescued.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have this tape. It's all queued up and ready to go, and I would ask folks who are listening to pay very close attention as Sheriff St. Marie talks about how he was pulled to safety during Hurricane Betsy.
All right, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Folks, right now Mr. Borne is going to run that interview, and right after that he has a nice little political jingle, I believe you said, performed by Leroy Martin about Mr. St. Marie, right?
Absolutely. When Sheriff St. Marie ran for re-election, Leroy wrote his campaign song and also recorded it. And so what you hear is Leroy Martin singing in absolute flawless English. You know, Leroy could sing in both French and English, and many of his great songs were recorded in French and written in French. But he wrote this one in English and recorded it in English, and that backs up right after the tape. And then after that song plays, I'll come on the line again. Okay, William?
All right, well, let's go ahead and run the interview, because I think a lot of the listeners are going to like listening to this.
All right, here we go. Stand by.
Let's
go back to 1965. This is an interview that Raymond Sadie filed with Sheriff Eddie J. St. Marie.
At this point, the Eddie J. St. Marie interview, which is in a little bit better quality, you can hear on another part of our website. Just go to the home page, and they'll give you the information. And now, at this point, we'll resume our telephone interview with Dan Borne as it aired Christmas Eve 2003.
I tell you, that story, and you know, that was, as they say, live on tape, unrehearsed. One of the great actualities of all radio was Sheriff St. Marie explaining how having that flashlight in his mouth really kind of, you know, changed the course of history. So.
Very much so. And of course, Marie Bacheron told me, I think it was a few years later, and we didn't have the tape over here, but she told me her story about the time Sheriff St. Marie did a great dramatic monologue for her on tape about the, I don't know if you remember what was called the Bruley Swamp Monster.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that tape.
Okay.
But I remember it. I remember it like yesterday.
Right. And she still has fond memories of it today. And yeah, he was quite a character, even though I never had the opportunity to meet him. And that is the first time I've heard the tape that you just had. And it's a pretty remarkable piece of history that you say.
Well, he was at a banquet. He couldn't remember people's names very well, and he kind of just reverted to calling you stud. And he had that gravelly voice, and you know, he kind of knew who Daddy was when he met you and stuff. So he'd see young guys around town. He said, "How you doing, stud? What you say, stud?" And one night, either over at the VFW home or the American Legion home, there was a big banquet, and the Archbishop of New Orleans was on the dais, and St. Marie was the master of ceremonies, and he began introducing people at the head table, and he got to, you know, so-and-so, we have the mayor of the city of Thibodeau, and he'd say who that was, and he said, that's the chief of police. And then he finally got to the Archbishop, and he said, and now, honored guest, the Archbishop of New Orleans, what's your name, sir? So, he was, you know, he had his share of enemies, of course, and the enemies that he had were well earned, because he was a very, very tough politician in his day. But he was one of the card-carrying sort of metaphors of political life in South Louisiana.
Very much so. And well, I tell you what, Dan Borne, we can't thank you enough for providing that to us live here on KTIB Day for us, our 50th anniversary. Of course, the station signed on the air at 10 o'clock in the morning on December 24th. And I know, even though you're way up in Baton Rouge, I know you can pick us up. And I guess you must feel pretty special on this day as well.
I just, so many of the people that were so instrumental in my career, helping me as a young man learn and understand, you know, how to do things. I owe all those people that you've been interviewing this whole year so much. Jim Swiler actually wrote a station break that we used here at the KTIB. I think he actually wrote it in '62 when he first came. And we used it all the way through the end of the '60s when I left. And of course we were 6:30 back then. And the break went something like this. This is KTIB in Thibodaux, the far-reaching voice and choice of the Golden Delta. 6:30 on your radio dial. We use that, ad infinitum. And just hearing Jim, you know, talking about all the days that he put in there, it's just reminiscent of so many people who have contributed to that great little station over 50 years. And credit to you, William, for the work you have done to catalog this. This is so important in terms of keeping a corporate memory of that radio station.
Well, I appreciate it, and I told the people in the office here earlier today, last night I was editing all the way up until 11:30 p.m. I didn't realize this. I wound up accumulating 17 different cassettes that with footage on both sides of each cassette to play for the folks over the past few months. It's taken me 5 months to put this together, and it's been a lot of fun. And what we're going to do later on for folks, if people would like copies of certain interviews, we'll try to make that available after Christmas. So, yeah, it's been a very rewarding job. And
the next thing that you should do, and I mean this as strongly as I can mean it, you should make copies of those tapes and catalog them and donate them to the Nichols Library.
Mm-hmm.
And put it there in the archives, in the Ellender archives, or however they want to do it, because one day someone will want to do an oral history of Thibodaux, and those tapes give an insight of 50 years of broadcasting that should not ever be unavailable. And so it would be just a wonderful gift from you and the station to the Nichols Library.
Well, we're definitely going to consider it, and Mr. Clifton Terrio, in fact, who works for the Archives Department of Ellender Memorial Library, he was responsible for a few pieces of footage we have from the first year of the station, and something we're going to air later this evening. We actually have a complete 25-minute program from when Leonard Toops was running for mayor.
Wow.
So, and it includes Mr. Toops' jingle about Vote for Number 3, which was also sung by Leroy Martin.
Well, if Leroy could just get residuals from all the political tapes that he made over the years. Wow.
Oh, very much so. And but I tell you what, it's been a pretty interesting experience, and we'll be doing this this evening for a little while longer. But it's been one heck of a day here in Thibodaux, and one of our owners, Mr. Treen, was by earlier, along with our GM, Linda Bellinger. We need to thank them for keeping the station in good line, and of course, Jayson Lee was here, our receptionist, who we do pick on, but we still love her a whole lot. That's Christine, along with Rainie Blanchard. Voisin was here. Of course, she's head of our news department. Mike Blanchard from sales was here as well.
How about Gene Richard?
Yeah, Gene was here. You'd love it, and I have it on tape if you want me to send it to you. He did dialogue this morning with his kids.
Oh, boy, all 7 or 8 of them, huh?
Let's see. I think all but 2 of them were here today.
That's just great. Well, Gene and I were in junior high and high school together, so in college. So we go back a long, long way.
Oh, yeah. Gene, of course, is also a cousin of mine. And, you know, it was a real fun show today, talking about all the good memories. And we can't say enough about how memorable Christmas is down here, not to mention, of course, the power the station has had.
Well, I heard your interview with Daryl Block, and next time you see him, tell him at $1 an hour he was way overpaid.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a running joke now for quite a while. But that was just an incredible story as well. So a lot of good people along the ways, and you know, that have been part of the station, both on the mic and in the offices, who've really made this place a great success, and I know you'll agree with that.
William, I do, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and love to your whole family, because I know them all, and you're just doing a wonderful job. Keep it up.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll get with you later on.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Dan Borne coming to us live from the beautiful city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And that was all improv, by the way. I'll go ahead and let y'all in on the secret. Mr. Borne had been hearing our broadcast in the Baton Rouge area, and he's the one who saved the Eddie St. Marie interview that you just heard. And he suggested, well, you want to try airing it over the phone. And he did, and worked out beautifully. I want to give you a NORAD update on Santa Claus, in case any of you are listening out there across South Louisiana or maybe other parts of the country if we get a right bounce on the signal. Going to our friends at NORADSanta.org. Santa was located near Portugal, which is the western fringe of Europe, just after 6 p.m. I know David Bernard said something else in Channel 4, but I got to go by what our friends in the government say, the air defense people. And Santa Claus was in the area of Portugal, I guess, after leaving South Greenland earlier. And looks like he's heading towards the Mideast, possibly towards northern Africa in that region, and will eventually swing back northwestward towards the United States as we get closer to roughly 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Or, yeah, about 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I have something no other weather office probably has given y'all tonight, and that's updated weather conditions for the North Pole. I found an observation station right in the cusp of the North Pole. And of course, Santa's got to get back, sooner or later. I think Santa's probably going to get back there North Pole around 6 a.m. our time. And current conditions at the North Pole, minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity. Winds are east at 7, which is pretty light by North Pole standards. The pressure is 29.67 inches of mercury. It is currently mostly cloudy at the North Pole. Scattered clouds at 4,000 feet. Broken clouds at 20,000 feet, and 7 miles of visibility. That's plenty enough where he doesn't have to put Rudolph's nose on extra bright, and that way he'll save Rudolph's battery, which I'm sure he bought at AutoZone, but that's another bad joke. Anyway. Okay, time right now is 6:32. So before I forget, I want to send a special shout-out to a lot of the good people that work here at KTIB right now. Going down the list, and I'm not trying to put any particular people ahead of anybody else, but just going down the list, of course, Lloyd Bourgeois, been our football announcer for a good while. Our accountant, Terry Beauvoland, he definitely doesn't get enough credit for the good work he does. And also Gene Richard, of course, hosts of Dialogue. Jennifer, who does the board work over here for a lot of the sports games. Rainie Blanchard, of course, who you all know on the morning show. I believe the engineering staff, including Danny Miller and Larry Tom. Jayson Lee does the news, of course. Christine is the secretary, who we picked on very badly this morning, probably unjustified. Joe Martinez, who often comes in to do a lot of the board work as well. And, of course, she couldn't be here today because she had to fly out of town. But Keith Nelson is also part of the board and does board work along with covering many council events. And, of course, Mike Blanchard, who works in the sales department. Now, I'll go down the list of the people I want to publicly thank for taking part in this. Of course, Polly Armstrong, Todd Bauer, Ricky Benson, longtime engineer, of course, Marie Bergeron, Ken Berthelot, Jacques Barry, Harold Block, and Gerald Block, Dan A. Let's see, Ed Bourne, who's a really great guy if y'all ever get a chance to talk to him, Jacqueline Brinkley, Lombard, Dave Buris, Steve Calderera, Jimmy Cole, of course, is in Lafayette, Murray Dennis, great lady here in Thibodaux, Marvin Dugas, also Greg Dumas, Mrs. Ellis, of course, who you heard a little while ago on our Southern Tones tribute, Denise Stopanol, Darren Font, Brian Landrum, who's up in Nashville now, Greg LaRose, Rick Luquette. I called him Richard earlier. That's my fault. It's Rick Luquette. Brendan Mathern, Dave McNamara. Of course, we now know him from Channel 4. Billy Pete, who came by here earlier. John Rayner, great guy. Of course, Mr. Sadie, who called me earlier. Thank you, Mr. Sadie. Hugh Smith, Jim Swiler, Kathy Terracina, and, of course, Johnny Barrett from the Southern Tones, along with Freddie Williams, Ray Robinson, and Reverend Lewis Clark. Joe Wall, great guy out of Tulsa, Oklahoma now. Shane Warner took part, and also Jeff Zerang. Hopefully we didn't leave anybody off. I know there's a few employees of the station. A lot of you do remember that unfortunately just couldn't get a hold of for one reason or another. Sometimes we just miss each other with phone calls, which is one of the unfortunate breaks about when you try to do an anniversary series. You're not going to get everybody worked at the station, but I really want to try to get as many people that y'all would remember as possible. I got about approaching 5 minutes left before I'm going to switch back. I'm going to leave for the evening and switch back to Christmas music. I just got to thank all of you for being patient today, listening to the exciting series. And before I head out, I want to reread something I read this morning at 6 a.m. To give you an idea of the appreciation that the great people of Thibodaux have had for the station over the years, it involves a story I dug out in the Daily Comet from 50 years ago, and I think a lot of you might appreciate this reference. On this day 50 years ago, radio station KTIB-AM went on the air for the first time at 10 a.m. Central Time. Then station manager Arthur Bachman hosted the first station program, a news broadcast. While the news of that day considered various governmental issues, accident reports, and other assorted stories, the most interesting human interest story that day was a story on young Raymond Lejeune, a muscular dystrophy patient whose only Christmas wish was to have a television set, which in 1953 was a rather luxurious item. Well, the Thibodaux area showed its generosity and compassion by collecting enough money where this youngster got his wish and a TV set was delivered to his home in time for Christmas. This story is one shining example of the greater Thibodaux area support for one another. Hence, this is truly the reason why KTIB has stayed on the air for the past 50 years, and hopefully much, much longer. Without the support of you, the loyal listener, KTIB would never be able to provide constant news, information, sports, and entertainment for so long. Be it elections, hurricanes, governmental meetings, sporting events, or countless other news stories, the staff of KTIB wants to reassure all of you that keeping local issues as a top priority is our commitment. From serving South Central Louisiana, the Golden Delta, 6:30 on your dial from sunup till sundown, to good times and great oldies, oldie 640 KTIB, we are here for you. On that fateful day of KTIB startup, the Lafourche Comet's banner read, "Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth to men of goodwill." So in keeping with those well wishes, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone on this, our 50th anniversary. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close out with one special song before we get back to the Christmas music. It's a song I played a few hours ago. And I was trying to figure out a special way how to close this segment. It's hard to say thank you for all of you out there for being, so supportive of us at this station through thick and thin over 50 years. So, if you don't mind if I steal a little bit from Jimmy Durante. Thank you, everybody, and good night, Vanessa, wherever you are. You're listening to Oldie 640 KTIB Thibodaux, Homa. The time is now 7 p.m. Central Time.